Hey guys, what's happening? So this morning did a change of the seatbelt warning relay in the 300D, and I can give a brief rundown of what we had to do in order to get it in there. Right now, that's the new relay. It came out of an 85 300 SD and made it up perfectly. So now if headlights are on or if your keys are in the ignition, it just makes that noise. On a consistent basis, yeah, the buzzer is very annoying, but better to have an annoying sound in your ear than a dead battery from leaving your headlights on. So, it may have happened like one time since I've had the car, and I just figured I would replace it. So, to do this job, there's several different screws. There's two of these quarter turn gray screws that cover either side of this hush panel on the driver's side. So you want to remove those and do so very carefully, because if you ruin that Phillips head insert, you're looking at about $1 a screw to replace them. That's right, $1 a screw. I found that out the hard way, so I went and got some spares from the dealer. Couldn't find them on a third-party site, so it made it for a very annoying experience. Metric tool set is usually what you want, but I use the Sears Craftsman 5/16 socket wrench here. It's got this circular end. That's about one of the few things that can fit in there. Just as you can see, you try and get it up in there with the open end. It gets in there, but it doesn't quite fit right, so it's a lot easier to use the circular head. So that's what I'll be doing once I put everything back together. I'll just be making sure that that's tightened down. You'll want to try a couple different screwdrivers here. I used the flathead, which worked fine for me. And you also want to have a Phillips head just in case. But don't have a sharp end. Try and get it so that it has a bigger head. Because with those gray screws, you can very easily ruin the Phillips head insert on them. So better to use a flathead, especially since they're just quarter turn screws anyway. It doesn't require a whole lot of effort to get them in and out. So that's one way to do it. This is the old relay that came out. Probably just going to throw it out, just because, don't really need it. There's also, in my case, there's only two, but you're going to find 3 of these brass screws hanging in these types of slots right there. Number 1, 2, and 3. Now the third one's been missing on me for some time, and just haven't really bothered to put it back in because I don't really need it. The 2 that hold it in place just fine works for me. So basically what I'm going to do now is show you exactly how you'd remove everything. So you take your Phillips head, remove 1, 2, and 3 on these brass screws. Underneath in here, one of the quarter turn screws will be right there. And right over here, if we can get that in focus, is the second one. If you have thin arms, you can get in there without having to remove this one, but I would strongly suggest removing all screws. That way you have a lot of working room, especially when you think about it when you're in here. Look at it's so much more space than as if you had just that one side out. It's just really not a whole lot of room to work with. Having everything out gives you a lot of space. So ultimately, yeah, it's a pretty simple job. If you ever want to replace this relay yourself, it's not too bad. Just make sure you remove all the screws and then, put everything back and tighten everything down when you're done. And yeah, like I said, fairly easy job. You can have it done in maybe less than a half hour if you know what you're doing and you have all the right tools available. So yeah, it's not too bad. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, let me know if you have any questions.